Something dramatic happened in the Middle East, and the world barely had time to react. Within just 24 hours of taking power, Iran's new supreme leader was already making a move that could reshape the region. Missiles launched toward Israel shocked military analysts and diplomats across the globe. The speed of the decision raised one question everyone is now asking. Was this planned long before he took power? Welcome to WorldScope News, where we break down global stories that could change the future. If you want clear explanations about world events like this, make sure to subscribe now so you never miss the big stories. Because what happened in those first 24 hours may tell us everything about what comes next. And the deeper you look into this story, the more intense it becomes. The leadership transition in Iran was already surrounded by uncertainty. Political insiders knew the next leader would face enormous pressure from both inside the country and across the region. Iran's influence stretches from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean. Any major decision from Tehran immediately affects global security. But no one expected such a fast and bold move. Launching missiles toward Israel within the first day of leadership signaled something very different from a cautious beginning. Military observers immediately started analyzing satellite data and radar reports. They wanted to understand whether the strike was symbolic or the start of something bigger. Israel's defense systems activated within minutes. Sirens echoed across several regions as people rushed toward shelters. For many citizens, it felt like another sudden chapter in a long, intense rivalry. But for military strategists, this moment carried deeper meaning. Because leadership changes often reset foreign policy direction. And sometimes a new leader tries to show strength immediately. Some analysts believe the strike was meant to send a message not just to Israel, but also to the United States and regional allies. Others think it may have been connected to internal politics. New leaders sometimes take strong actions to consolidate power quickly. Inside Iran, power is complex and layered. The supreme leader holds enormous authority over military and political decisions. The Revolutionary Guard plays a major role in strategic operations. Their relationship with the new leadership is something the world is watching closely. Missile launches require planning, coordination, and approval. That means the decision was almost certainly prepared before the leadership transition. This raises another possibility that analysts are discussing. Perhaps the timing was carefully chosen to demonstrate continuity and strength. Israel responded immediately with heightened alert levels. Air defense units stayed active long after the missiles were intercepted or tracked. Intelligence teams began examining launch locations and missile types. Each detail could reveal the scale of Iran's intentions. Across Washington, security officials gathered for urgent briefings. The United States has long considered Israel a key ally in the region. American satellites and surveillance systems were already tracking movements. Within hours, reports began circulating through intelligence channels. For the global audience watching the news, the situation felt sudden. But for those studying the region, the tension has been building for years. Iran and Israel have been locked in a shadow conflict for decades. Much of it happens quietly through cyber attacks, proxy groups, and covert operations. Direct missile launches are far more visible. They immediately capture international attention. And timing matters. Launching them within the first day of leadership sends a symbolic signal. Some experts say it was meant to show that Iran's strategy will not change. Others think it might even signal a more aggressive approach. But there's another layer to this story. The Middle East today is far more complex than it was even a decade ago. Regional alliances are shifting. Countries that once avoided cooperation are now working together in unexpected ways. Israel has strengthened ties with several Arab nations in recent years. Those relationships have changed the balance of power. Iran sees these developments as a strategic challenge. Every new alliance reshapes the regional chessboard. So when missiles were launched so quickly after the leadership change, observers began connecting the dots. They wondered whether this was part of a much larger strategy. The world also watched Israel's response carefully. Israel has a long history of responding forcefully to threats. But immediate retaliation can escalate tensions rapidly. That is why every decision is calculated. Military planners think several steps ahead. They consider not just the next move, but the chain reaction that could follow. For global markets, even the possibility of escalation creates shockwaves. Energy prices and shipping routes can be affected within hours. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most critical trade routes. Any conflict involving Iran immediately raises concerns there. International diplomats quickly called for restraint. Messages traveled between capitals in Europe, the Middle East, and Washington. Behind closed doors, urgent conversations were taking place. Leaders were trying to understand whether this was an isolated event or the beginning of a larger confrontation. Meanwhile, ordinary people across the region were watching closely. They know that small incidents can sometimes grow into major crises. This is why those first 24 hours were so important. They revealed the tone of the new leadership. Some analysts describe the move as strategic signaling. Others describe it as a warning shot. But either way, it instantly changed global headlines. The world suddenly had a new question to consider. What kind of leader would Iran's new supreme authority become? And how far might he be willing to go? History shows that early decisions often shape long-term reputations. First actions can define how allies and rivals react. The United States began consulting with regional partners. Defense officials discussed possible scenarios. At the same time, intelligence agencies studied communication patterns. Sometimes, the most important clues appear in quiet signals rather than public statements. Israel also increased surveillance across multiple fronts. The country monitors threats, not only from Iran, but also from groups connected to it. Those groups operate in several neighboring countries. Their actions can influence the overall situation dramatically. This is why military planners view the region as an interconnected system. One event in one location can ripple across borders. Back in Tehran, officials released statements emphasizing defense and sovereignty. Their words were carefully chosen. Public messaging often serves multiple audiences. It speaks to domestic supporters as well as international observers. For supporters inside Iran, strength can be an important political message. For foreign governments, the same message can sound like a warning. And that difference in perception creates tension, because interpretation often shapes the next move. Across social media, speculation spread quickly. People tried to understand whether the strike was symbolic or strategic. Some believed it was designed to test Israel's response speed. Others thought it was meant to demonstrate new leadership authority. Either way, the world was paying attention. Every radar trace and satellite image became part of the story. At WorldScope News, we follow these developments closely so you understand what's really happening. And if you find this breakdown helpful, share this video so more people can stay informed. Because global events like this affect far more than just one region. They influence security, economics, and diplomacy worldwide. Back channels between governments continued working quietly. Diplomacy often happens out of public view. Sometimes, a crisis is managed through private conversations before the public ever hears about them. Those conversations can prevent escalation. But uncertainty still remains. The new leadership in Iran is still defining its global posture. The first 24 hours offered a powerful signal, yet the coming weeks may reveal even more. Military analysts are watching troop movements and missile readiness. Intelligence communities monitor communication networks. Diplomats are studying speeches and policy statements. Even small wording changes can reveal larger strategies. Israel continues to maintain strong defensive readiness. Its air defense systems are among the most advanced in the world. The United States also maintains significant military presence in the region. That presence acts as both deterrence and reassurance to allies. Meanwhile, global media continues analyzing every detail. Stories like this capture worldwide attention because the stakes are so high. For many viewers in the United States, the question becomes simple. Could this situation escalate into something larger? That possibility is exactly why governments move carefully. Every decision is weighed against potential consequences. The early missile strike may have been a signal, or it may have been the opening move of a longer strategy. Right now, the world is still trying to interpret the message, and that interpretation will influence future responses. One thing is certain, leadership changes in powerful countries always create moments of uncertainty. Sometimes those moments pass quietly. Other times, they reshape entire regions. The next few months will likely reveal the true direction of this new leadership. Until then, analysts will continue watching closely. If you have thoughts about what this first move means, drop a comment below. Your perspective is part of the global conversation. And if you want more deep explanations about world events, remember to subscribe to WorldScope News. We bring you the stories behind the headlines. Because in a rapidly changing world, understanding the bigger picture matters more than ever. And the story of those first 24 hours may only be the beginning.